Hey guys, I got another video for you all today. Today, I'm sorry to tell you that we will be talking about Ubisoft. Yeah. As someone who's going to be covering a lot of Ubisoft games on this channel, most namely Assassin's Creed, I feel like it's important that I address Ubisoft as a company and how I do not support how they work as a company. Just because I enjoy many of their games, and I will adore them for as long as they live, doesn't mean I'm okay with how they run their company. And that's important because, how am I supposed to give them credit for doing something great when I know that the company in and of itself is corrupt? So basically, I'm going to be breaking this video into 3 parts. 1, how they run their company. 2, what effect it has on the gaming industry and how it's harming it. And 3, what's happening internally within the company that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later. First thing I'm going to bring up is how they run their company. This is seen most notably with Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, but it applies to many of their other titles as well, where they make these huge open-world RPG games with lots of copy-and-paste territories that are big but empty, that they have these huge, massive open worlds that are not rich with content and don't offer a whole lot of agency with the player, filled with boring side content that you have to do in order to progress in the main story, otherwise you'll get level capped. And adding to that even further, they also add in loads of microtransactions, most notably time savers and XP boosts. This is a problem because it exploits the fans. There are people, even if they're not myself, who truly do like these open world RPG style games, and by forcing them to spend money to play your game, you're exploiting them. There's no reason that I should be paying money to play your game less. And that's exactly what an XP booster does. It makes it so that I can pay you money so that I don't have to do all the boring side content and all the grinding in order to progress in the main story. That's all that is. Anyone who tells you different is a moron. Additionally, we have situations where the microtransactions are ridiculously overpriced. It's very clever and devious that they set it up in the Helix store format where you're forced to buy Helix credits and not the actual products, because you'll always be forced to buy more Helix credits than you actually need, because none of them actually match up with the cost of items. So they're swindling you money because of the way they set up their microtransaction store as well. And this is exploiting the fans because, as I said, there are people that really like these games. And it's ridiculous because there have been studies, well, not studies, but people who have researched all the different microtransactions in Assassin's Creed. And if you bought all of them, at least in Assassin's Creed Valhalla anyway, you end up with spending over $500. That's, what, like almost 20 times the price of the main game, which is 60. And occasionally, in Valhalla anyway, people were getting pop-up ads during gameplay for Assassin's Creed Mirage. How is that okay? How are we letting this slide? There are more microtransactions in the form of armor sets than there are in the main game. There are 9 armor sets in the main game, and there are 12 locked behind a paywall. Why are we just letting this slide? There's no reason we should. And that brings me into my second point, which is what this is doing to the gaming industry. We have this company that is pumping out these huge open world RPGs and pumping out all these microtransactions and making their game essentially pay to play. Not technically, because you don't technically have to, but you're highly encouraged to. And so when they do this, it makes it look like it's okay for other companies. Other companies are held accountable when they put loads of microtransactions in their games, but for some strange reason, Ubisoft is able to get away with it. But it still makes it look like it's okay. EA, Activision, they're both bad too. You get Blizzard, who are starting to go down that wrong path as well. And it stems from Ubisoft, I think. I think it stems from the fact that these companies think it's okay to make their games like this, even though it very much isn't. And that's a big problem that we have in games these days, is that they're very hit or miss, partially for that reason. Partially because there's a chance that there are going to be loads of microtransactions in a game and there's nothing we can do about it. And lastly, I didn't want to have to talk about this, but I have to bring up the allegations that were brought up against the company. If you're unfamiliar, there were a couple cases in various different studios that Ubisoft operates where there were people that were sexually harassed and abused within the company, and there was no action taken against it. That no one was fired, no one was replaced, and no one was held accountable. They were just moved around a bit. And it is yet to be addressed because the CEO is a piece of shit. I hate that guy. But that's not even what it's about. It's about the fact that he's not holding these people accountable for what they did. We want to see real change. And so I'm still buying Assassin's Creed because I feel like I have to. I feel like I bought it hook, line, and sinker. But there's no way I'm buying Skull and Bones. I'm probably not buying their Star Wars game that comes out later this year, even though I really like Star Wars. And it's because I want to support the company as little as I could, because I don't want to give them more of my money. I don't want to promote this malpractice. And yeah, they're going to sucker me into the next AC game, but that's all they're going to do. You know, I'm going to play AC Red even if I tell you that I'm not. And I wish I could say I won't, but the truth is that's probably not going to happen. But there's no way I'm going to touch any of their other titles that come out in the near future because I don't want to give them any more of my money than I have to. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I know I probably started your week off on a bad note. You know, it is a Tuesday after all, but I feel like this is something I needed to address with, you know, the fact that Ubisoft is a massive company and I'm covering their games. I'm covering their games, and so I feel like it's necessary for me, morally as a person, to address the fact that they are not a good company and do not practice business well. Other companies should look at Ubisoft and see them as an example of how not to run a company. Alright. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. If you want to have a conversation about this in the comments, feel free. And, you know, have a great day, everyone. And always, may the force be with you.